In a small town where days passed quietly and nothing seemed urgent, there lived a young man named Elias, someone who had always believed that motivation was the key to changing his life. Every morning, Elias waited for motivation to appear, believing that once he felt inspired, everything would finally fall into place and his life would begin to move forward. Some mornings he felt motivated, full of energy and big plans, and on those days he promised himself that this time would be different, that he would focus, work harder, and finally become the person he wanted to be. But most mornings, motivation never came and Elias stayed where he was, scrolling through his phone, delaying his tasks, and telling himself that he would start tomorrow instead. Days slowly turned into weeks, and weeks quietly became months, and although Elias talked often about changing his life, very little actually changed in the way he lived each day. He noticed that people around him were moving forward, building careers, improving their skills, and creating stable lives, while he felt stuck in the same place, repeating the same habits and making the same excuses. Elias told himself that the problem was motivation, believing that once he found the right book, the right video, or the right moment, everything would suddenly become easier. So he searched for motivation everywhere, watching inspiring speeches late at night, reading success stories, and listening to powerful words that made him feel strong for a short while. For a few hours, sometimes even a day, Elias felt energized and hopeful, but that feeling always faded, and when it disappeared, his old habits returned, stronger than before. Slowly, Elias began to feel frustrated, not with the world, but with himself, because deep down he knew that his life was not changing, no matter how motivated he felt. One evening, after another day spent doing very little, Elias decided to take a walk outside the town, hoping the quiet air might clear his thoughts and help him understand what was wrong. As he walked along a narrow path near the edge of town, he noticed an old man sitting on a wooden bench, calmly sharpening a small knife, his movements slow, steady, and precise. The old man did not look busy, and he did not look tired, and there was a quiet confidence in the way he worked, as if he knew exactly what he was doing and why he was doing it. Elias stopped nearby, watching in silence, and after a moment, he spoke, admitting that he felt stuck in life, that he wanted to change, but that he could never stay motivated long enough to make real progress. The old man looked up, listened carefully, and smiled slightly, not with sympathy, but with understanding, as if he had heard these words many times before. "You are waiting for the wrong thing," the old man said calmly, returning his attention to the knife. Elias frowned, confused, and asked what he meant, because he believed motivation was necessary for success and change. The old man placed the knife down and looked directly at Elias, explaining that motivation was unreliable, because it came and went, and that anyone who waited for motivation would spend most of their life waiting. Instead of giving advice, the old man stood up and asked Elias to follow him, leading him to a small clearing behind the bench where the ground was flat and quiet. The old man then pointed to a simple wooden stick lying on the ground and asked Elias to pick it up and hold it straight out in front of him with one hand. Elias did as he was told, holding the stick out, feeling slightly awkward and unsure what this had to do with discipline or motivation. "Hold it there," the old man said, "and do not lower your arm." At first, the task felt easy, and Elias wondered why the old man had chosen something so simple, because it required no skill, no talent, and no motivation. After a minute passed, Elias began to feel a slight strain in his arm, but he told himself it was nothing and continued holding the stick. As more time passed, the strain slowly turned into discomfort and then into real effort, and Elias felt his arm shaking slightly. The old man watched quietly, saying nothing, allowing Elias to experience the task without interruption. Elias felt the urge to lower his arm, to relax, and to stop, and a familiar voice in his mind began to whisper that this exercise was pointless and unnecessary. Still, he held the stick, breathing slowly, focusing only on keeping his arm steady even as the discomfort increased. After several minutes, the old man finally told Elias he could lower his arm, and Elias did so immediately, feeling relief rush through his body. The old man then asked Elias a simple question, asking whether he had felt motivated during the exercise. Elias thought for a moment and admitted that he had not felt motivated at all, only discomfort and resistance. The old man nodded and explained that discipline was not about feeling good or inspired, but about doing what needed to be done, even when every part of you wanted to stop. He told Elias that motivation starts action, but discipline finishes it, and that without discipline, motivation becomes nothing more than a temporary feeling. Elias listened carefully, realizing that most of his life had been guided by feelings, waiting until he felt ready, confident, or inspired before taking action. The old man explained that disciplined people did not wait for the right mood, the right time, or the right feeling, because they understood that action created motivation, not the other way around. Before leaving, the old man gave Elias a simple rule to follow, asking him to choose one small task each day and do it at the same time, no matter how he felt. He told Elias that the task should be simple, even boring, because the goal was not achievement, but consistency and control. Elias returned home that evening with a new understanding, realizing that his life did not need more motivation, but more discipline. The next morning, Elias chose a simple task, waking up at the same time and sitting quietly for 10 minutes, even though he did not feel like it. The day after that, he repeated the same task, feeling resistance again, but doing it anyway. Slowly, Elias noticed something changing inside him, because each time he followed through despite discomfort, his confidence grew stronger. He began to understand that discipline was not about punishment, but about self-respect, choosing to act in alignment with the life he wanted, even when it felt difficult. Weeks later, Elias looked back and realized that his life had started to change, not because he felt more motivated, but because he had learned to discipline his mind. And that is the lesson. Motivation is temporary, but discipline builds the life you want. When you discipline your mind, your actions become consistent, and when your actions are consistent, your life begins to change.